Hello and welcome to the special series on anti-ragging, and today we will be talking about UGC regulations and their compliance. I'm Lottie Alaric, and today we will be taking this discussion forward with two eminent guests. I'm very happy to welcome Dr. N.C. Wadhwa, who's the Vice Chancellor of the Manav Rachna University of Faridabad. Welcome to the show, sir. Sitting next to him is Dr. Archana Thakur, who is the in charge of the ragging cell of the UGC. I welcome you too. Well, sir, we all know that the menace of ragging is huge, or we can say that it was huge, and over the years certain steps were definitely taken and we did see some positive results. But what is your overview about ragging as a Vice Chancellor of a university?
Frankly speaking, after introduction of UGC regulations on curbing the menace of ragging in higher education institutions through 2009 regulations, there has been a sea change in the total scenario. Prior to that, a lot of cases would keep on happening. There would be reports in newspapers, in electronic media, but institutions would be found wanting in preparatory exercise, in taking strict action to check those incidents. Luckily, these regulations have been very exhaustive, very comprehensive. These regulations provide a detailed framework how to pursue with preparatory exercise, and then form different committees and create a mechanism to take effective steps. In fact, there are no gray areas now, and naturally UGC expects zero tolerance from all institutions, from all universities. It is in this background that after introduction of these regulations, because we have to report back our compliance to the state government, to UGC, to MHRD, and during these 4-5 years, these incidents declined, and there is a total change in the perception of faculty, students, parents. They know what are the penal provisions. The definition of ragging is now totally revised. It's very comprehensive, and when students are expected to join for the new academic session, prior to that, every institution has to organize a high-level meeting of anti-ragging committee, in which not only senior functionaries of the university participate, representatives of district administration, police, NGOs, parents, fresh students, senior students, everybody has to participate.
It's a multi-pronged approach that is really being
and
taken.
then that strategy is decided, and then
that's how it's taken forward.
Yes.
All right. Now, Dr. Archana, were there any guidelines from the UGC before the Supreme Court really intervened? Did you all ever think that you need to have certain regulations for these incidents that are now happening in so many institutions?
Not exactly. Supreme Court passed its judgment on 8th of May 2009, and then as per the Raghavan Committee recommendations, we framed the guidelines, and the guidelines were gazetted on 17th of June 2009. Then we sent this guidelines for circulation to the different universities and colleges. This guidelines is a very elaborate and comprehensive guidelines which features on different aspects of ragging, its mitigation, also the filling of affidavit. So, this becomes, the regulation has now become a law. So, the students as well as the parents as well as the institution has to abide by it. We also, when we send the sanction letter or granted aid bill to the institutions, we have written a line that the institution where the money is going should be ragging free. So, we have left no stone unturned so that the institution is now ragging free institution. But definitely, India is a vast country, and we have so many institutions, 651 colleges, and say more than 45,000 51 universities, and more than 45,000 colleges, and so many other institutions. It's a long way to go ahead, but still we.
So what is the kind of brief that you all worked with when you were formulating when the committee was formulating all the guidelines?
Yeah, actually actually Raghvan committee was working earlier on guidelines. So Raghvan committee has given a set of recommendations. Recommendations that what is exactly ragging and what the institution should do in order to if the ragging happens, then what should the institution do? Like it should have anti-ragging committee, anti-ragging squad, CCTV cameras should be there. There should be local alertness amongst the teaching as well as non-teaching staff, because ragging can take place outside the class also, anywhere in the corridors, in the hostel. Hostel wardens should be sensitized. There should be some interactive programs between the seniors and the juniors. Some mentoring group should be there where the seniors can be the mentor for the juniors. And
so which means there's a lot of clarity as far as these recommendations or the guidelines are really
Exactly.
So, sir, I would want to ask you here that when these guidelines were issued for the first time, what was the general kind of response of all the universities? Were they really ready to come up and accept these as they were, or did it take them some time? Was there a hitch in implementing? Because as it is, we all know that universities and colleges are also, they have a lot of work on their hands all the time. So was there some kind of an additional work on them, or did they really welcome these recommendations?
In fact, it was a great relief.
Okay.
We should not say it was a burden. Of course, these guidelines are very voluminous, exhaustive, and lot of preparatory work has to be done. But they have brought a lot of improvements in the academic atmosphere in the campuses, and there is now very conducive atmosphere. Otherwise, a lot of such things would keep on happening. Sometimes these students would go scot-free, and even faculty would not dare to touch senior students at times. They would be scary of inviting police and going
and even
in
the
for
violence that would take place.
And I would say everybody has almost welcomed it, and that is how now results are very visible. During these 4-5 years, we have very few cases happening in various institutions in the country. Of course, naturally isolated, half-hearted attempts would keep on happening.
True.
Every student
especially
is
because
not
of the size of our country.
Yes. There has been sea change, and Dr. Rajinder Kachru, father of that unfortunate student Aman Kachru, who got killed by senior students, and I would like to share with you when these regulations were issued in July 2009. In July 2009 itself, I decided to invite him to be a resource person in my campus. He willingly accepted our invitation. He was guest of honor. We organized a national level seminar on ragging, and he sensitized our faculty, faculty from different other institutions, sensitized the students, and the police commissioner of Faridabad, he chaired that seminar.
So this clearly means that the awareness has to come, and because without awareness nothing really can be done. So again, the UGC, so which means that the UGC did not really have to try too hard, because if that was the kind of compliance that you all got. But Archana, I would want to know, there must be certain pockets in the country where compliance must have been very hard to come by. So which was those pockets, and what were the kind of impediments that you all really faced?
Those actually, I must say that all the parts they have complied, but definitely some parts have come very slow. So these are few of the regions which has been identified by our monitoring agency as per the data received. Like we have affidavits where we have to ask the students to fill it online. Now
what is to be filled in these affidavits really? What is the kind of information that you are seeking?
It's an undertaking given by the student as well as the parents that I will not indulge in any such ragging activities, and if I am found to be indulging in then ragging any incident, then the administrative actions which are pointed in the regulations, then those will be implemented on us, and then we will be ready to face the wrath of the institution wherever we are enrolled. So in a way, it is that we will not do ragging, we will not tolerate ragging. Even the freshers do it, and the seniors also do it, because the seniors, they go to the second year or third year or fourth year, so they might pick those small freshers.
True,
And they, so all of them have to give the affidavits.
Now, Dr. Wadhwa, I'm sure even though it sounds very simple, but for the first time to tell somebody to file to fill up an affidavit and to give an undertaking of that level, was it really easy, or did you also have parents who were kind of, who did not really give their consent so easily, or who found that, okay, should I do this or should I not do this? You know how our country is basically.
I don't think there was any resistance.
No resistance.
In fact, I would further like to elaborate on what Madam Thakur just mentioned. This undertaking, this affidavit gives details of clause 3, clause 7 and clause 9(1) of the UGC regulations.
Okay.
And when the students and the parents affirm and declare that they have read the provisions of clause 3, clause 7 and clause 9(1). Clause 3 constitutes gives definition and what constitutes ragging. Clause 7 gives detail how head of the institution in case of such an incident goes in for an inquiry and how these students have to face that inquiry. And clause 9(1) gives details of punishments. A student
so which
can
means
be,
it's very, very clearly elaborated,
Yes.
so that the parents know what they are
Yes.
signing.
And parents of freshers or seniors who are seeking readmission, in the, naturally they feel very comfortable. They want their wards to attain high academic standards and not indulge into these kinds of
Activities like
foolish
this.
activities and
Right.
land themselves in problem due to penal laws of the country.
Right. Well, on that note, we'll have to slip into a very short break, but people do stay put, as we'll be coming back very soon. So I'll see you on the other side with a lot more. So don't go away, as we'll be coming back in just a moment. Welcome back. We are talking about the menace of ragging, and today's episode is specifically dedicated to UGC regulations and their compliance. Well, both the guests here have told us as to what are the kind of recommendations that have come in, the regulations that have come in, and they are very clear down to the last word as to what the universities or the colleges are supposed to do and what is the participation of the students as well as their parents. Now, I would want to ask you here, Dr. Archana, that this is one, filing of an affidavit is one. Which are the other major guidelines and what are the other do's and don'ts that you all have told the colleges and universities to follow?
Yeah, we issue a public notice as the commencement of new academic session that ragging is a violence, and all the institutions have to obey the regulations pertaining to ragging. This is one thing. Second, we send the circulars to all the vice chancellors and the colleges also affiliated to that particular university that they have to abide by the regulations in toto and in wholesome. And also we have written separately the letters that CCTV cameras have to be installed, which is then anti-ragging committee has to be constituted, anti-ragging squads has to be constituted, and also you have to sensitize, you have to make some counselors in your institution in order to counsel the freshers or the seniors in your institution if this kind of activity takes place, and mentoring cells should be there. And also we have recently written to the institutions to hold debates, debates and to hold seminars on ragging, so that it can be a thing or to talk about in public and sort out different problems in a very easy and comfortable way. So we are always like a check post foremost, and we always check that the institution is complying with the anti-ragging, that they are making the anti-ragging committee. We send the letters, they send the compliance to us, the constitution of the anti-ragging committee and also the anti-ragging squads and what they have done. They regularly send us the compliance. But
so reporting back is a very important part.
Yeah, that is very important because, you know, again I'll say it's a very big task, but definitely you know, the colleges and the institutions and the universities are coming forward to curb the menace of ragging, and then they say that we have constituted the anti-ragging committee, and we have constituted we have installed CCTV cameras, and we are also, you know, there we have also asked them to hold some programs to educate them about ragging, and so that the ragging doesn't take place, because ragging in our regulations has now a wide definition. So it's not that a violent act between a senior or junior
but only be considered as ragging. That's not the case.
Yes, definitely.
Right. So Dr. Wadhwa, I'm sure you'll agree that the efforts of the UGC are commendable. Absolutely. Now which clearly means that these are not some posters or some literature that is going to be put up on the institution notice board and that's it. It's not just a tick in the checklist. It means that if they say that these have to be done on a regular basis, these are kind of some debates or declamations or whatever you have. So is it possible but for colleges to abide by all these things that they say? Because as it is, we know that the teachers and the students are usually running against time for completing the syllabi. So do colleges really have time to do all these things, all these, carry out these regular activities on anti-ragging?
Yes, because just before start of the new academic session, we have summer holidays and administrative units of the university, they are functioning. Even faculties also on summer holidays by rotation. Half of the faculty goes first, then they come back, and later on next batch goes. So faculty and administrative officers, they are all available, and as far as our brochures are concerned, it is obligatory, as Madam Archana has pointed out. University or institutions have to take a lot of effective steps, starting from an issue of your admission brochure. I have brought my admission brochure at page 95. It gives details of what is ragging, what are the officers to be contacted, what are their telephone numbers, what are UGC guidelines, what are Supreme Court, Honorable Supreme Court judgments. All these are there for guidance of the people. We have uploaded all these regulations, including pro forma of affidavit undertaking, on our website. My website gives detail of all these things. 10 officers with their telephone numbers, helpline number of UDC, helpline number of our campus. What is
so which means no one can really come up and say that I did not know where to go.
Yes, we have sufficient time and we feel very happy and comfortable because it helps us directly and indirectly. As I said, if it's an incident-free, hassle-free atmosphere, a lot of good things, value addition programs can be launched well in time. And our CCTV cameras and other sensitive activities like flying squads, anti-squad and ragging squads, suddenly going to the hostel, suddenly going to the canteen, to labs, to other common areas, to sports arena. So it brings a very conducive atmosphere, and we intend to introduce the freshers to the senior students through a common cultural and sports program. And what we did, we have spaced the entry of senior as well as fresh students with a gap of 15 days. We started with our session from 14th of July. So only freshers joined the campus. For 15 days they have been sensitized, acclimatized, guided.
That's a good idea, I think.
Now today, 28th, now senior students have joined the campus. So meanwhile, fresh students,
the freshers would have
they have lot of strength, lot of courage, and to face such situations. Right today, all deans were expected to address orient sessions for the senior students to sensitize them and to warn them not to go in for such kind of ragging activities.
Now, Dr. Archana, we all know that if ragging is taking place, the students must approach the committee or a senior, or there are helplines, and to that effect, you all have put everything in place. But suppose if there is an institution that fails to comply with the duties that it is supposed to do in case if they face certain cases, then what are the penalties that would be imposed on that institution?
Yeah, see, there are penalties are also written in the regulations. Like those institutions which are covered under our 12B Act. 12B Act, where UGC is giving the central funding. So we withdraw that funding from the university, and also we withdraw the special grants which is given to the university or the college affiliated to it. We also stop the scholarship or fellowship programs in that area. And moreover, the last important thing is that a public notice might appear in the newspaper, which is notified in the regulations that this institution does not serve the minimum academic standards.
So, and that would definitely not go down well under any university.
And during the time of admission, the brochure, when the child comes to take the admission brochure itself has a set of regulations along with the admission kit, which has to be delivered to the student. So there everything, helpline and everything is written, so as to sensitize the student who is coming, whom to contact, where to go, what to speak, and how to overcome if some problem arises.
May I add something to it?
Please.
In compliance with UGC guidelines to state governments, in addition to UGC regulations, state of Haryana has come up with a separate regulation from the state itself. Haryana Ragging Activities Ordinance 2012, and as per penal provisions of that regulation, if some principal or vice chancellor of a university just is not able to perform his duty, and under these guidelines he can be imprisoned for 6 months and fined with an amount of rupees 25,000, and the institution, if it is a school or a college, can be fined 2 lakhs rupees, and if it is a university, there is a fine of 5 lakhs.
So which means that even the state government is taking this seriously.
Exactly.
Right. Now, Dr. Archana, would you want to talk of any particular case, wherein something came up to you all, and how were you able to handle it? Because I'm sure examples can go a long way in spreading awareness to the public.
I'll just tell, as per the regulations, in the regulations it is stated that we have to establish one helpline. So we have established helpline. I'll just tell how it works, because that will clear all the cases of ragging which comes to us on a daily basis, ma'am. So what happens when a child is ragged, or then he calls the helpline. The helpline number is 180-180-5522. So as the call comes, it is recorded, and we keep the student or the child anonymous, because we have the software where the name is erased. That call is recorded, and then our supervisor, we have in the call center, we have the supervisor who analyzes the call, and then he makes the call to that particular college. The college principal or the the nodal officer, we have also asked to nominate a nodal officer in the university or the college in order to handle such cases, and there they inform that this particular thing has happened, and they do not disclose the name of the child, because that anonymity has to be kept. And then after that, they also inform the SHO or the local police of that place that ragging has happened, and then you should approach that particular area. After that, FIR is lodged, because now it is a criminal offence as per the rule, and the FIR is lodged, and that police, it reaches the college premises, and college premises there the principal again says that we have to go through the anti-ragging committee, because that committee is constituted of the head of the institution and few of the members, in which a local police is also a part of it. Some students are also a part. The committee has a a set of structure which is which the regulation says. So the anti-ragging committee studies the problem on a very critical and very analyzed basis, and all these steps are loaded on the website. We also have website.
So the whole procedure is clearly elaborated.
Exactly. What are the steps are taking being taken?
Right.
So it is on the website. So if the child gets a number, a particular number of his complaint. So if he types that number, then he will know the status of his complaint. Where is the status, like anti-ragging committee, and then whatever the anti-ragging committee takes action, there are a series of actions which we'll talk later on. So that action has to be taken later on, and then the college informs us that that action has been taken. We give a minimum time of 7 days in order to have a quick response. Now again, our call center, they call the student, and if the student is satisfied with the action taken by the institution, then we close the case, and then we send it to the monitoring agency. So you know, it's an ongoing process. Our call center operates 24/7, and you know, the call, we have a very sophisticated call center system, and then we first satisfy the student whether he or she is satisfied with the action of the anti-ragging committee, and then only we close the case. So you know, the cases come on a regular basis. In the not only one, the 2-3 cases they come. Recently there was a case of in Delhi University in Satyavati College. So you know, we are following it up, and today only before coming I had inquired from the principal. The principal said that anti-ragging committee has been already they have it, and they will submit the report on 31st. So after that report, they will take action against the group who has taken, who has done ragging or you know, indulge in any such violence. So our work is very multi,
like
24/7 multi-pronged, and you can say that we have no concession for any you know, any time or anything which is any loopholes, I must say. So we are on duty every time.
Yes, correct. I'm so glad that you explained it really well. So in the end, what would you like to tell the public? Is there any take-home message that you would want to leave?
Actually, we as a very progressive nation with a very vibrant and buoyant economy, and the main backbone of this economy being human resource development. Naturally, if the educational institutions and the universities are able to provide excellent academic inputs to their students and shape their careers and personalities, they will go a long way in shaping the destiny of this great country, and that can only happen when there is very conducive academic atmosphere in different institutions. If such type of half-hearted attempts or mischievous ragging incidents keep on happening, naturally lot of valuable time of faculty, students is wasted. Very students are very sensitive.
Absolutely.
They naturally want to attain academic heights, and when they are put to shame or insulted, they lose their confidence, their attention get distracted, and their studies are obstructed. So the parents, the society at large, everybody, they have a role to sensitize their wards and help and cooperate with the institutions to strictly enforce all these regulations
that we've just
that is need of the day.
Absolutely.
And we are grateful to UGC and MHRD for providing a very excellent framework of anti-ragging regulation.
Absolutely, I think we can say that again. So in the end, what would you like to say, Archana?
I would say that the student should be bold and smart enough to report any untoward incident, and also the teachers and non-teaching staff of the university, college or any institution should also report if they see any incident happening, and they should be bold enough to you know, tell to spread the message that ragging is a menace, and then that has to be curbed. You should have a healthy and happy and you know, a good camaraderie amongst your fellow colleagues and fellow students, so that you be happier, and if you have a happy state of mind, you will study well, you will do wonders, and then you know, you will be a very good nation.
Absolutely. On that note, I'd like to say thank you to both of you for coming today and for talking about this issue.
Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Well, friends, I think the point is clear that ragging is something which is totally intolerable, and now the UGC, the HRD ministry together have made sure that this is going to be a criminal offence. So remember, when you go to any institutions, just try and go and study there properly and make up your personalities, as Dr. Wadhwa said, so that this nation can be proud of each one of you. In the end, I can only say an emphatic no to ragging. Thank you for watching. Catch us next week when we'll be talking about some other steps in ragging.